what God wrote to you? Or have you not heard what God spoke to you? But that's not what he says. He says, have you not read what God spoke to you? And it's as if he's holding his original audience accountable, as if when they're reading the scripture that God has spoken directly to them, that they are the first audience. And like I said before, he goes on to quote Exodus, and though the Sadducees aren't standing at the base of Mount Sinai hearing God's voice via Moses, Jesus is beholding them to that as if they were. And so first and foremost, I think if we're going to claim to be Christians, we should at minimum hold the view that Christ held in regards to what inspiration and inerrancy was. And so I think ultimately what I'd say is that inerrancy is a statement on the origin of Scripture, is that Scripture comes from God, and because God does not err, neither does his word. And so I think that's communicated from the pages of Scripture itself, but you can look at individuals throughout church history. Augustine, when he's conversing with the Manichaeans, in his back and forth, he writes to Jerome, and he says that this heretical Gnostic sect who asserts that Augustine's view of inspiration is contradictory, well, Augustine says simply that there are no contradictions within Scripture because no author has erred. And that if you find what looks like a mistake in Scripture, it's either your misunderstanding of the text, or the translation you're looking at is poor, or you're reading some sort of scribal error. And none of any of that impacts the original words inspirationally penned by the authors of Scripture.